Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I don't really have any headlines. I did want to touch on the data drops we will be seeing this week and some of Bitcoin's price action. And then I have all the time for alt requests or other TA requests you might have. So let's dive on in and get you prepped for some success today. Like always, I got that stock heat map pulled up. We're seeing a little bit of sell-off in the pre-market right now. We've got Apple sitting up 1.39% from its close on Thursday. We do see a little bit of sell-off, down 1.5% in the pre-market right now. We've got Nvidia sitting down 2.87 off of its close on Thursday, sitting down 2.22 in the pre-market right now, seeing some decent sell-off on that tech side. We do have Berkshire Hathaway sitting up 0.34% off of its close, sitting down 0.76 in the pre-market so far. Got Amazon sitting down 0.99%, sitting down 1.04 in the pre-market. Got Eli Lilly up 14.3% off of its close on Thursday. Looking for some light sell-off in the pre-market so far, sitting down 0.41%. We got ExxonMobil sitting up 2.62 off of its close. In the pre-market, seeing some decent sell-off, down 0.98. We got Tesla sitting in that neutral range for its close, down 0.07%. Looking down quite heavy in the pre-market so far, down 3.59. Got P&G also sitting up off of its close, down up 2.55, looking down 0.22% in the pre-market. We got Microsoft sitting down 1.03, also sitting down in the pre-market 1.08. Got Google down 1.38 in the pre-market, also seeing some decent sell-off, down 1.05. And to wrap that on out, we got Meta sitting down 0.17, and in the pre-market, also seeing that sell-off, down 1.31. For the crypto side of things, we are looking very green on that daily. We did get a solid move up on Bitcoin, up 3.4%. Looking like we're doing a little bit of faltering this morning, so we'll have to take a look at that Bitcoin chart here in a second. We do have Ethereum up 3.2, XRP up 3.3, BNB up 1.9. We got Solana up 0.8. Dogecoin up 4.8, Cardano up 4.1, Tron looking quite neutral, looking at 0% to the upside on that daily, retracing a little bit harder on that hourly, down 0.6%. We've got Leo token up 0.9%, also continuing to the upside on the hourly. We've got Chainlink up 3.8%. Avalanche up 5.3. We've got Stellar Lumens up 7.1%. Also continuing to the upside on that hourly. We've got Toncoin up 1.3%. Shiba Inu up 3.2%. Sui up a whopping 7.5% and up 1.1% on that hourly. Let me get that one added to the list so we can take a look at some Sui. If you have any other alt requests, go ahead and drop them in the chat for me now. I don't have a lot of news to go over. We've got HBAR up 6%. We've got Bitcoin Cash up 2.6%. And to wrap out that top 20, we got Litecoin making it back to that 20 spot on the market cap and up 6%. Also continuing to the upside on that hourly, 0.1% to the upside. For those fear and greeds, we do have the stock side still sitting in extreme fear. It's not too surprising considering we closed a little bit to the upside on a Thursday, but we are seeing that decent sell-off in the pre-market right now. So might be seeing that tick a little bit further into that extreme fear as the week goes on. We do have the crypto side of things up 2 points after Bitcoin got that nice move to the upside. We're still sitting in fear though, as we are bumping up against some key areas I've talked about before. We'll kind of have to see how this all plays out and if we can turn an area back into some support that I've been talking about for quite a while now. We did have a nice move to the upside and clearing out some of that liquidity. Let's get back over to that 24-hour chart because we still have some liquidity to the top side on this shorter term time frame chart. This is sitting right at $88,200. That'd be a very, very easy move for these market makers to grab, especially since we don't really have any heavy data coming out until Wednesday. So I'd be looking for this grab of some top side liquidity and then turn around to see if we can turn some areas below us into some key support. We do have that 3-day also looking quite nice for that liquidity to the upside. We've got a very light hotspot at that 88,200 and a very light hotspot at 83,800. We did clear out all of this liquidity sitting in the middle. That was at 86,100, almost 86,200 that I'd been talking about last week. We did have all of that liquidity residing right under 87,000 that we have finally went up and grabbed. Let's zoom this on out to that 1 week. You can kind of see there was all that liquidity at right below 87,000 that I've been talking about all of last week that we needed to go up and grab. And we finally moved to the upside and cleared out all of that top side liquidity on this 1 week chart, and it's looking pretty bare on either side of us. So kind of looking to see if we can now turn some key areas into some support that have been resistance for quite a while, kind of break some structure, make a higher low for now. Let's zoom this on out to that 2 week. 2 weeks also looking quite nice. If we can, there we go, finally loaded. We cleared out all of that liquidity in the middle of the zone, and we're now looking to see if we can turn some areas into some support. So let's hop over to the chat and to the economic calendar and then to the chat, and we'll see what we're looking at on that Bitcoin chart after. We do have Monday looking quite bare for data. We have some 3-month bill auctions and some 6-month bill auctions. Other than that, there's nothing really going on for this Monday. You scroll it on down, take a look at Tuesday. We do have quite a bit of Fed speeches coming out this week, so I will be dropping some breakdown of those speeches in our Discord. If you're not part of that Discord, definitely should. I've got that link pinned at the top, and we do a lot in our free section, and we do even more in that paid section. So definitely check it out. If you're not there, you're missing out on a lot of alpha. We got few Fed speeches coming out at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll definitely be keeping my eye on that. We do have coming out of the European Union some consumer confidence, looking to be a decrease on that, just like it was in America. Looking for some more Fed speeches coming in the afternoon tomorrow. Got Fed Kashkari, we've got Fed Kugler speaking tomorrow afternoon as well. Scrolling it on down, we do have some data on Wednesday, and that will be the big data day. We have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI coming out of the UK. We also have new home sales coming out of out of Canada, building permits coming out of the United States. We also have that Fed Global Composite PMI flash. That will be the biggest market mover for this week, and I will be keeping my eye quite closely on that. Also, at Wednesday, we have new home sales and new home sales month over month. So another thing to keep your eye on for Wednesday. A lot of data coming out on Wednesday. Other than that, it is looking like a light data week, and market makers will be making most of those decisions on where price will be moving. So let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and say good morning to everyone. SEJ Quick Smoker saying evening from Australia. Hope everyone had a great Easter. I hope you had a great Easter too. Had a nice calm Easter. We just ate some food and watched the kids search for some Easter eggs. So nice and calm weekend. We got all set in here. Saying good morning, BC and fam. Good morning to you, all set. I see Crypto Billy in the chat. Good morning to you. And looks like that's it. We've got a few lurkers, so good morning to you lurkers. Hope you're having a great morning and had a great Easter. Let's hop into this Bitcoin chart. Scroll it on out to that daily, because we were seeing some curvature here on our prime oscillator and our MACD as well, back to the downside, and we're getting a little move to the upside on those now. We did see that kind of rolling over this weekend as we had a very, very low volume. We got a nice push to the upside as those Asia markets opened up, and we did see a little bit of money flow coming on in here on this daily, as you can kind of see. Let me get that moved over so you can actually see the money flow there. There we go. Getting that money flow coming back in here. A little bit of a slow up on the sell-off. Your volume did pick up quite nicely and is sitting in the green as we got that curvature back to the upside on our prime oscillator and curvature back to the upside on our MACD as well. It was rolling over quite nicely this weekend, and we got that strong push to the upside, which really pushed things back on up. Really looking to see if we can turn 85 at 251 into some support on a higher term time frame. You can see there has been a lot of selling pressure in this area. We pushed through it quite solidly before the weekend ended and created a nice fair value gap here. So leaving a big area to retest. Zooming in on that 4 hour, you can kind of see how big that candle is. Leaves a lot of price points to come and retest here. You do have that MACD, which is rolling over just a little bit. Your prime oscillator also getting that curvature. Waiting to really see if money flow can continue here. You've got your volume starting to pick up here. It's sitting in the light green. So if we can continue with some positive money flow, kind of see if we can switch some of that volume from lightly bearish to a little bit bullish here, we could retest this 85 251, turn it into some strong support, and really make a higher low in this range. That's where we'd be looking for that one day to make a higher low here. This is where we've been making lower lows this entire time, and this is the potential for a switch. Would really want to see us turn this 85 251 into that strong support as a higher low, and that would kind of lead my sentiment to be more to upside, higher targets. We'll kind of have to see if we can turn this into some support though. We've got that hourly rolling over here, but your money flow is extremely green. You've got your True 7 maintaining that green as well as your volume is still increasing. Prime oscillator looking for a little bit of some cool off as we started bumping up against this 382. That is at 87,800. You can see we wicked right off of it this morning and are looking for a little more downside action. You do have all of this being a fair value gap, so coming into about the middle is that 86,300 range. That'd kind of look for a test at. If you are unable to maintain the midline of that fair value gap, look all the way back down to 85,251, and that's kind of where I'd want to see us turn at least that 4-hour candle into a strong support on 85,251. If not, we're coming all the way back down into our sideways range below 85,251 and our CME gap all the way down here at 81,300. Let's see what the 15-minute and the morning are bringing our way here. Looking like you're getting a little bit of some curvature here on your MACD. Really needing that prime oscillator to cool off just a little bit more here. Seeing us do it with some sideways action is quite nice. Kind of bodes well for a little bit of a last push above this 382 and 87,700. You do see our money flow being extremely green here, but your volume kind of switched to some selling volume. So we'll kind of have to see if our money flow can continue to come in here. It has to look like it's started to slow off as you see a divergence here, and we'll kind of have to see if that pushes price down or if we can maintain this sideways movement right under our 382 and kind of switch this area between 85,251 and 87,700 into our next sideways moving zone. I see JR in the chats. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great morning so far and that you had a good Easter weekend. All right, let's kind of see what those upside targets would be if we can push above this 382 here. You do have a little bit of some resistance right above us at about 88,600. That would be that real area to watch for. If we do get above that 382, there's quite a bit of resistance at about 88,700 there. Let me get that line drawn out, make it a little bit thicker there so that we know it's a more shorter time, but not on a 15-minute chart. We'd be looking for resistance. That'd be more of an hourly chart. We're kind of looking at some resistance at 88,700. We do have quite a bit of liquidity that is residing in this area as well, so we'll kind of have to watch to see if we can go up and grab that. I'd be looking for this being some resistance, and we did see all of this being resistance last time we broke above that 382. So 88,700 and about 77 would be that first area I would look for some resistance. If we do get above this on our higher term time frames with a strong push with some money flow, you have seen that volume slow down just a bit, but your money flow being quite strong here. Just need to maintain some of that positive volume. We did see gold get a nice strong push to the upside as well, with some nice correlation with that Bitcoin price action. And you are seeing the same thing on gold, getting that curvature of our MACD back towards our indicator line, printing some light green candles on our histogram, and looking for that prime oscillator to cool off just a bit. You do have a very nice green money flow here, but your volume has slowed down quite a bit on gold as well. We did get that solid 382 bounce in continuation, looking for that platinum pocket to be some strong resistance here on our fib extension. might pull back down to that 50% line and 3,326 before we see that strong continuation to the upside. We do have a bit of some resistance at that golden pocket if we do break below that. So looking for a higher low to be made after we break down to the downside. That'd be that 50% line there. BC, can you take a look at BTC weekly and monthly money flow? Can most definitely do that. Let's hop back over to that Bitcoin chart and really zoom it on out to some macro. It's been a while since I've taken a look at that weekly chart. We do see this a monthly rolling over on our money flow, which is kind of not what you want to see, but you do see the volume decreasing a bit. So as your volume decreases and your money flow starts to come out, it kind of looks like you're waiting for some money to start flowing back in there. You do see a lot of people have already taken profits, looking to make a potential higher low on some money flow as your volume has slowed down quite a bit here. So looking to kind of see if we can see our first change here, but your MACD and your prime oscillator are at some very crucial points here. You got your MACD running quite sideways with our indicator line as we're printing those lighter green candles here on the histogram, and your True 7 sitting in the red here, waiting to see if we can get some positive money flow to continue in on that monthly as we try to get that curvature here. We do see that weekly money flow also being in the red. You saw it kind of you see it kind of curving back over here, but you do have that prime oscillator with a divergence and a reversal signal as we just switched from heavy red to some light red here. So getting that curvature on the MACD as well. This is a little bit of some macro hopium here on the weekly. If this can kind of roll over into that monthly, we could see that potential switch over with that higher low that I was talking about. Would need to really see if we can continue to the upside here. We did have a very indecisive candle here on the weekly, which allows us to either push to the upside, make a higher low here, or continue back down and really clear out some of that bottom side liquidity. I still have that order at $71,800. So I'm kind of favoring a little more downside before we push back to the upside. We did have a lot of liquidity at $90,000. So kind of looking to see if we can clear out some of the bottom side first, in my preference, before we push back up. Kind of leaves that for a bigger move and some bigger gains for market makers to make. So that's kind of why I'm favoring down before up instead of up before down. We do have gold also seeing that roll over. Looking like that 15-minute and the morning are looking to try to get back up to that platinum pocket though. We said, let's see. We got a few people in the chat. So good morning. Haven't seen you in a while. Did you change times? Yes, I did, Steve Hickey. I kind of pushed things back from my time. It would be 4:30 in the morning. So I'm going live at 4:45. Gives me a 45-minute show. Gives me time to like get ready for the day and then head out the door. So shortening it from an hour show to a 45-minute show kind of makes it a little bit easier on me in the morning and also gives me a chance to work out. Trying to keep myself from getting burnt out. We got Donato Cabrera in the chat saying good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Early bird gets the worm. Let's print some paper. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting for a little bit of some cool off after we're seeing some of these inflation resistance assets get that push to the upside. And you are seeing that sell off in your traditional market. So looking for a little bit of some downside in the morning here. We did see gold and this 15-minute getting some heavy rollover on your MACD. staying underneath our indicator line as we're printing some nice red candles here. Got your money flow maintaining quite positively here, but your volume has slowed up quite a bit. So looking for a little bit of a break to the downside if you do make that a higher low and that higher high and push up towards that platinum pocket as we're cooling this oscillator off. Would look for a bit of a divergence to kind of really push money flow down and get gold scooped up at these lower prices. I didn't see any other alt requests, but where was it? I swear I saw one in here. These alts fall 10% and rebound 1% for like 2 years now, says Crypto Billy. Yeah, that's why I'm not in the alt market. I sold off most of my alts after Bitcoin made this high back here. No, not back here in that 70,000. Sold off most of my alts and then just bought like 5 alts, and when they didn't really perform that well. So I was quite glad that it was mostly in Bitcoin, and my alt percentage toward my portfolio was about 15%. So that's definitely saved my butt quite a bit here. I did see a lot of sell-off coming, and I sold off here at that 99,000 mark before we really pushed down. So if I do see us make a higher low, I might do a big Bitcoin buy and then really see if we can push back up to that $102,000 where we see that very, very strong resistance on our higher term time frame. Was taking a look at Dixie. We did see quite a bit of downside, and that was as gold was getting that strong push to the upside. Daily's kind of curving over here on our prime oscillator, sitting in the light red. Your volume has slowed up just a bit. Your True 7 has clipped out, but looking like some continued downside for the Dixie. I'm just gonna keep it honest. This is not the time you want to be sitting in the dollar, especially with all the tariff news and the market uncertainty. Your bond sales have been slowing up quite a bit, and your bond buys have been slowing up quite a bit, and your bond sales have been increasing quite drastically. So this does push the dollar quite a bit lower. You do have a potential area for some support here at 97.72. I would look for that to be lost, especially with how this prime oscillator is looking with that curvature back down. Your MACD sitting under that indicator line and creating more width from that indicator line really leads me to believe we're gonna see some more downside on the dollar. Kind of take a look at that hourly. You do have the potential for a little bit of some upside, but we are sitting below our golden pocket here, so that will be a strong resistance area for us. That's a 99, about 25 there, that we would kind of look for the Dixie to potentially push up to if you can see some positive money flow coming in. Your True 7 clipped here on its way back up, so looking for a last ditch push to the upside on the Dixie to try to get back up to that golden pocket before we really lose all of these levels. I do have that platinum pocket coming in here at about 95 on the dot. It's about 95.01. We do have a little bit of an area below that at 94.60 that I'd also look for us potentially finding some support. Zoom that on out to the daily so you can kind of see where that level's drawn from. Zoom this on in here, and this is the area we did some battle with at the golden pocket on our way to the upside. Here was a strong area of support that really got that pushed to the upside. So looking to potentially come back down to that and see if we can find some support there. That'd be that next level to watch for. That was at 97.72. You come back down here, that platinum pocket level 94 to 94.50 58 would be this resistance area that we turned into some strong support before pushing back up. So those two levels I'd really watch for. They were some strong bouncing areas before. So dollar looking quite battered down, and I would look for that to continue for the short term. Kind of wait for some clarity in the markets with some Donald Trump news. All right, I posted some XRP charts in the Discord for a look to the upside. Let's take a look at XRP then. I will get that one added to the list. Is there any other alt requests you would like to see for the morning? I see Alexander G in here. You're here early, Mod Queen. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Getting that caffeine in for the day. If you got that Mod Queen emoji, drop it in the chat for her. All right, let's take a look at SWI, because we were talking about SWI this morning because it was continuing to the upside there. Let me get that drawn out. There we go. We saw this area that we were looking for some potential resistance, blasted through it a little bit quickly, and are looking for a little bit of a retest on that level. Looking at that 15-minute, seeing a bit of some rollover. Let's get that zoomed on out to the daily though, because that would be more of a shorter time frame retest on that level. We are sitting below the platinum pocket here, looking to make a higher low from here. So let's get our demonstration tool pulled up. Zoom this on out. SWI has been making lower highs this entire time. So we got the low, the low, the low, the low, and it has started making a little bit of some curvature here. Let's get this fixed on out so you can see that MACD a little bit better. We did break to the upside here on the daily, starting to print some dark green candles all over again, and that prime oscillator getting that curvature back to the upside as our volume is starting to increase on the daily. True 7 is sitting green and moving sideways here, so waiting to see if we can really retest that strong level on that shorter term time frame, probably about an hourly to 15-minute chart. I would look for that retest and then see if we can retest it again on a higher term time frame. You do have the platinum pocket and $2.49 being a very strong resistance area. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at that 4 hour, and that 4 hour getting that break above our indicator line and broke above our zero line here with some heavy green candles on our histogram. Your volume is just switching from selling volume to some buying volume here on the 4 hour. Your prime oscillator just switched from a light red to green, and our true 7 just switched from red to green here as well. So looking to see if we can see a continuation of money flow on SWI as well before we really get that strong resistance area at the platinum pocket coming back into play. You do have that hourly looking like it needs to see a little bit of some cool off, and that's where I was talking about that 1 hour candle might get some play on $2.17. You do have a bit of an area above that where we have this order block here on our way to the upside. It's an order block above it as well from back here. So looking to kind of retest that area if we come back down. Let me get that drawn out from the top side there. There we go. We got the top side there. And this whole area sitting above it would look for a little bit of a retest of this zone. I will make that green so we know that it's going to be a bit of a buying zone to watch for. We do have the midline of that coming in very equal with these equal candles, and that'd be about $2.20 that I'd kind of watch for a bounce if we do break back down towards that order block. We do have that prime oscillator and MACD looking like they will need to see a little bit of some cool off to see that continuation, and that's where that 15-minute is also getting that cool off. You do have a divergence that has not played out yet. Your MACD line just broke below your indicator line, and that prime oscillator getting that curvature back down to the downside, but instead of cooling the prime oscillator off with some sideways momentum here like Bitcoin was, we have been getting that continued push to the upside, which does kind of tend to lead to more divergences. So that might stack up a little bit higher and really push price back down with some strong quick movements. So I'd watch for this area to kind of be retested. It's about $2.22 to $2.17. Let's take a look at that XRP chart. And then if we have one more alt request, I can take a look at that. I see Crypto Princess in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you've been having a great day so far. I know you're ahead of me in that time zone, so it's getting close to lunch. I see Ondo requested by DeFi Crypto Boss, so I can take a look at that one as well. Let me get that added to the list. Ondo. All right, we will take a look at that one after XRP. We'll kind of have to see if XRP can get above this $2.14 level. I've talked about it for quite a while. Let's zoom this on out to that daily, see where we're looking at there. You do see XRP looking like it has the potential for this to be a higher low in our fair value gap. This is a fair value gap from all the way back here. And we've been playing in that zone quite a bit. You do have that MACD and prime oscillator, which are both getting that curvature back to the upside the same way that Bitcoin was. So it does bode quite nicely for the potential of a continued upside move if you can see this volume maintain some green with some positive money flow. So we are sitting in some light green volume here. True 7 just switch back to the green here. So waiting to see if we can see a continuation of money flow on a shorter term time frame and have that bleed over into our higher term time frame. And just like most of the rest of everything we've looked at for the morning, that 1 hour does look like it needs to see a little bit of some cool off here. You do have your volume, which is maintaining some nice green buying volume, seeing a little bit of a rollover on that as our True 7 is moving quite sideways. Your prime oscillator got that reversal signal and is sitting red here as it's getting that curvature back to the downside, and your MACD looking back towards our indicator line here as we started to print some light green candles on our histogram. So looking to retest at least the midline of our fair value gap. We did get a nice test of all of the highs here, and it's looking like we might retest all of that all over again, but that would still be a more macro higher low here if you zoomed that on out to that 4 hour, which we skipped over it because we're trying to move it through the morning. We do have this 15-minute looking like you are quite cooled off here, but you need to see a little bit more. Your money flow is sitting in, your volume is sitting in the red here, waiting on this True 7 to really clip out as your MACD is sitting below our indicator line and is creating some more width from it. So that's where I was talking about the midline coming back into play. That is that $2.10 mark we've talked about over and over again for XRP. You did see those very equal candle bodies coming in at $2.10. Be a nice area to retest before we try to see that price get up to $2.14. That was an area from back here we saw all of those very equal lows at. It's trying to retest some of the highs from right here, but looking like we might lose that all over again. Value area at $2.06, but thinking point of control is $2.35. Yeah, and that's where we're going to have to turn all of this sideways area we've been moving at in for XRP into some support first. So this has been our fair value gap, which we've been playing around in for quite a while on XRP. And that's where I've talked about us needing to get back to the top side first. That's about $2.18. Turn it into some strong support on something like a 4-hour candle here. As you can kind of see, every time we get above that $2.18 with a higher term time frame, we really lose it quite heavily. So we don't really turn any of it into some support. We just have a bunch of wicking action off of it, wicking. So a lot of sell volume in this area that we would really have to look to retest on. If not, you're really looking for this sideways range to hold. If not, it does look quite ugly on your very high term time frame. Take a look at that weekly, and that's where you see your weekly is breaking and looking for a little bit of continuation to the downside. So does have the potential, if you do see a higher low made here, for a reversal signal to kind of flash for XRP. But money flow is slow, volume is slowing up a bit on XRP on that weekly time frame. So we want the shorter term time frames to bleed over into the higher term time frames with some positive news, not with that slowdown and sell off. But XRP is already got those strong moves to the upside there. So has been correlating quite nicely with Bitcoin's price action, and to see Bitcoin kind of get that slowdown kind of tends to give XRP that same slowdown. We did say Ondo. I don't think I have that on my list there. So Ondo. We will take a quick look at Ondo, and then we will wrap out the show. We will see you all at the morning motivational video. I'm not sure if this is the right one. We got Ondo Finance on the weekly. So let's pull up our macro fibs here. We got the low to the high. We're sitting right below that platinum pocket there. Let's lock that. Zoom this on in towards our daily. See what we're looking at there. Daily seeing very strong resistance at 91 cents there. Bad dog, you getting point of control with volume profile tool, pulling out further to the daily with this volume profile. So nice. Oh, well, we'll kind of have to see that $2.18 point on XRP is very strong resistance. So that's why I just talk about that level. I take it level by level and don't look too high to the upside, because kind of gets you in that overly bullish sentiment there. I like to take it level by level, and once we clear out a level, then I look towards that upside. You'd have Ondo coming in with some decent money flow here on the daily, looking like that sell off has slowed up quite a bit as it's looking to do some battle with the platinum pocket all over again. Volume is maintaining quite steady here. You do have a bit of a divergence, but your prime oscillator is getting that curvature back to the upside. MACD is getting that curvature back to the upside here on that daily time frame. Looking to see if your shorter term time frames have that positive money flow. Looking like a bounce here on your money flow with that prime oscillator stacking up a bit of a divergence here. Looking to see if we can get above our platinum pocket and 91 cents, turn it into some support there. We did have a little bit of a break to the upside back here before we really lost it. So looking to do some battle with that platinum pocket all over again. Let's zoom it on in. Hourly looking like it's also seeing that point where you need to see a bit of some cool off there. Money flow rolling over, volume rolling over, MACD rolling over, prime oscillator rolling over. So looking to at least maintain some of the highs of this range. Would go from about 85 cents there. We did see a bit of some wicking action above that, but let's zoom this on in. There you go. Would look for a retest of here. 85.96 would be a strong area to kind of look for a bouncing at on the higher term time frame. If you lose that, would kind of look to just make another higher low here like we've been making for Ondo. You do have that 15-minute looking like you're going to see that continue to break down here. You do have a few divergences that have stacked up. Your money flow is rolling over. Your volume is rolling over. That prime oscillator sitting heavily red as you did break below our indicator line. Looking like it's going to be a strong, swift move to the downside here on that 15-minute to try to retest that area as some support. That's that 85 point where you see those very equal candle bodies here. That'd be a nice continuation to the upside point to try to get back up to 91 cents. All right, that was Ondo for you. It is 5:29, and I gotta get ready to head out the door there. So let me switch that over. I see Crypto Billion saying, cool. I go into settings on volume profile and click the box to mark them chart value area low, value area high, and point of control. Then not a guess. Love the tool. Compliments of Chart Prime. All right. Well, I don't use the volume tool very much, but I know Piper loves it. A lot of my levels kind of correlate quite heavily with some volume areas, though. I know JR had posted I think it was like a value area low, and my sideways running support line was very in line with one of those value area lows he had been talking about on an asset. So just different ways of finding different points of information. We do have Alexander G. Drop in some links in the chat for me. I appreciate you, Alexander G. I will be doing a live tonight on my X. So if you aren't following me on X, Alexander G, dropped that link in the chat. It will be Hodl the Line. We will be going live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, me and Crypto Coin Mindset. I don't think Bedell will make it there tonight. It was his birthday this weekend, so he went a little bit wild, had some fun. So I hope to see y'all there. I will see y'all at the morning market report at 10 a.m. with Piper. He will give y'all the breakdown of what to look for this week's data drop. We are looking for a bit of continued slowdown on the economy, but there's only one big data drop coming out this week. We do have Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, a great place to learn how to chart. If you haven't been making it to that late night show, you definitely are missing out. He does a great job at talking through his thought processes. We also have Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto. That's another great place to do some learning. If you didn't catch that last one, go ahead. We've got a little bit of a window between my show ends and that morning motivational video. So go ahead, give him a little watch, and hit that thumbs up button for him. And if you haven't hit that for me and you liked it, go ahead, hit that thumbs up on the way out. I will see y'all at the next one. Make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.